Hello, I'm Kira. Welcome to Shakti Power Yoga. Today we are going to do a practice for sore lower body. So I have a video out for yoga for post run. This is going to be a little bit more holistic on the lower body side. Same type of thing, it's a gentle practice, but it's going to work your hips more and not just work front and back like you need to do for running recovery. So this is great post strength training as well. So we'll go ahead and start in a wide-legged forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana, and relax into it. This practice will be slow moving. It's traditional hatha yoga, so there will be a little bit less of a flow than your vinyasa practices. You can sway side to side here. You can cross your elbows. Whatever you can do to just relax and start to open up the hamstrings and start our recovery here. And now we're going to bring the feet out 45 degrees and drop down into Malasana. In Malasana, if you're really tight, you can lift your heels up off the ground. If not, keep them grounded. Use your elbows to push your inner thighs away and keep your back as straight as possible. Crown of the head, reaching towards the sky. And now come back to your forward fold. This time, walk the legs a little bit closer, hip distance apart, and come into Uttanasana. And halfway rise, lengthen the back, crown of the head reaches forward, get really long in the spine, and then roll vertebrae by vertebrae back down into Uttanasana. From here, plant the palms so that you can walk the feet back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. In your first down dog of the day, go ahead and pedal out your heels. Walk it out. Try to stretch out the hamstrings more. Imagine that someone's pulling your hips up towards the sky. Try to get a V shape in your body. And then find stillness here. Elbows are tucked in. Make sure your back is really straight. Lift the right leg up into the sky. Open the hip. And now take hip circles forward. Switch directions with those circles. And now flip your dog. Back bend here, release the glutes and the hamstrings. And come back into downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg up through. Transition in a lunge and open straight up into Trikonasana, triangle pose. We're going to try to avoid using the legs here. That's why we're not staying in the lunge or anything. In your Trikonasana, hands reach long, airplane. And again, crown of the head is reaching forward. Great job. Keeping your feet in Trikonasana, sweep the arms and the torso towards the back leg and come into reverse triangle, Viparita Trikonasana. Big side bend here. Again, we're staying eyes towards the sky. One more breath. Come back up through center. Rotate the hips and the torso towards the front and lean over. Open your chest towards the right side and find Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolve triangle pose. So in this pose, you might not get your upper arm to be completely stacked as it is in normal triangle pose. That's completely fine. Just twist as much as you're comfortable. Great job here. Rotate back towards the center, bend the front knee, plant the hands, and tilt the hips back into downward facing dog again. We are going to repeat everything we just did on the other side. So from your down dog, lift your left leg into the sky, open the hip, and take hip circles. Change directions. Even pressure in both hands here. Try not to rotate the shoulders. And flip your dog. Again, working the back bend here. Your supporting arm should be stacked straight above your wrist. One more breath. And on an exhale, move back into downward facing dog. Sweep the left leg forward, transition through a lunge to find triangle pose. We're stretching that front hamstring, relax into it, gaze towards the ceiling if that's comfortable for you. Hips reaching towards the back wall, relax into it, a few more breaths. Great job. We are going to take reverse triangle pose. So sweep the hands backwards. Run your right hand along your back leg and get a deep side stretch here. Gaze towards ceiling again. And come back up through center, rotate the hips towards the front wall, tilt forward, and then find revolve triangle pose. Great job. Come back through center, bend the front leg, plant the palms, and find downward facing dog again. We'll stay in down dog for a moment. So pedal out the heels, sway the hips side to side, whatever feels comfortable. And on the next exhale, we're going to bend the knees, bring the knees wide, and find a wide-legged child's pose, Balasana here. Melt the chest into the ground, forehead touches the ground, hips are sinking down towards the heels. Really relax into this pose. It's a great restorative pose. Walk onto your hands for a moment so that you can bring the knees even farther apart. This time our ankles are going to move with the knees. Our feet are going to splay out to either side, and we're going to come into Bakasana. So in this pose, the same thing, as Balasana, we're going to have our chest melting towards the ground, and this is a really great abductor stretch. Stretch the hands towards the front of the room. Really stretch out as long as you can. Push your hips a little bit farther towards the back of the room to really get that stretch in the hips. 2 more breaths here. And go ahead and walk the hands back up. Bring the knees together and sit on your heels with your feet pointed. Now, depending on how flexible you are, you might want to bring your heels a little bit outside of your hips to be able to stretch your ankles a little bit further. But we're just trying to stretch out the ankles here, so no need to go into a full hero's pose. If you feel like you need an extra stretch, go ahead and do that. But really just stretching out the top of the feet here. One more breath. And now flex the ankles, and we'll stretch out the ankles in the other direction. So sit back onto the heels. Just stretching out. You can roll your head in one direction and roll in the other direction just to loosen up the neck while you sit here. Great. And now we're going to walk our hands forward again. This time we're going to keep walking them out until we are lying on our bellies. And we're just going to stretch out our quads. So bring your left forearm in front of you for support and bend your right knee and bring it in to stretch out that right quadricep. keep breathing here. It's a nice little back bend as well. So you're getting a nice little twist. Two more breaths. And release that leg. Bring your right forearm in front of you. Your left hand reaches behind, grabs the left ankle, and we'll stretch this quadricep. Two more breaths. Release that leg. Come to your hands, bend through the knees, and find downward facing dog. Right leg up, three-legged dog. We're going to open our hip wide here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And bring the leg forward and find Ekapada Rajakopadasana. Pigeon pose. So in pigeon pose, first get really long in the spine, sit up as far as you can, and then start to bend forward into a sleepy pigeon. This is the pose that we will hold for the longest just because it's such a wonderful leg stretch. So settle into it. If you need to come in and out of it and get the right form, you have plenty of time to do so. Your right knee does not have to be at a 90-degree angle. If you are less flexible, definitely bring the right foot back farther along your body and shorten that angle, and that'll help you just feel more comfortable in this pose. As long as you're feeling it in the outer right hip, you are doing it right, so there's no need to go deeper than you're comfortable with. And we're about halfway here. A few more breaths. Come up to rise. Great job. Plant the palms. Come back to down dog. Shift the hips from side to side here. Try to even out the sides. Your right side should feel a little bit looser now. And come into three-legged dog by lifting your left foot up, opening that hip, stretching it out before we then pull that leg through and find pigeon pose on this side. In your pigeon pose, your hips should be even. So your left hip does not have to touch the ground. It just has to be level with your right hip. Get long with the spine and then fold over slowly. And again, we'll get comfortable here and stretch for a long time to really get the full benefits. Great job, over halfway here. Two more breaths. Now from your pigeon pose, we are going to sit back on that left hip. Bring the left foot close to the right leg and come into Janu Shirsasana. So get long in the spine, face your leg. Don't be turned out towards the side, and then bend forward. You can grab your shin, your big toe, the back of your foot, and just focus on bringing your head towards your knee. Even if you're not getting anywhere close to that, that's the intention. Halfway on this side. One more breath. Rise up, and we're going to take Agni Stambhasana on this side. So left leg kind of stays where it's at, and we're just going to fold the right leg on top of it to come into fire log pose. The right foot will stack on top of the left knee, and our shins will be parallel. So if you're flexible, your right knee might find its way to come into contact with the left foot. It doesn't have to. There can be a wide gap there. If it's uncomfortable, you can put a blanket or a block there, or you can just let it hang in the air if it's not uncomfortable for you. Great job. Now we're going to take those two poses on the other side. So straighten out the left leg as you hold onto the right leg and keep that right foot close to the left thigh. Rotate the torso over that left leg and then stretch long and tall and then fold over that left leg. Head is coming towards the knee in Janu Shirsasana. And we're going to roll up towards seated. Keep that right leg bent this time and draw your left foot on top of your right knee, coming into Agni Stambhasana on the second side. Great job. We're going to come out of that, remove that top leg, roll onto the back, and draw your right leg into the chest. And we're just going to rotate that right knee around and take hip circles supine this time. Go ahead and switch directions. Now, grabbing a hold of that right knee, we're going to bring it towards the left. You can slide your hips a little bit farther over if you want to keep them centered. And we're coming into a supine twist here. Relax, melt into the ground. Make sure that right shoulder stays grounded, and you can look towards the right if that feels good for you. Twisting is such a great detox after any kind of exercise. If you worked hard, then you have lactic acid in your legs, and we want to just work that out and feel recharged. And come back through center. Give that right leg a squeeze into the chest and then bring it long. And then take the left leg in towards the chest, squeeze it, and now start those circles in the hips in one direction. And now switch directions. And grab it with your right hand and twist that left knee over to the right side and look towards the left. Keep your left shoulder grounded. As long as your left shoulder is grounded, your left knee doesn't have to reach all the way to the ground. Just relax into it, sink into it, and find a deep twist here to detox. And bring that leg back up through center. Give it a squeeze and then bring your right leg in to join the left. Hug into a ball, squeeze everything tight, and then come into happy baby pose. Grab onto the outer feet or grab a hold of your big toes, whichever you prefer. Try to reach the tailbone towards the ground. Keep the shoulders on the ground and sink into the floor to open up those hips. And now lower everything down towards the ground and find Shavasana. Your feet can splay out towards the sides. Bring your shoulder blades down the back and relax. Start following your natural breath. We're no longer trying to follow any kind of ujjayi or restorative breath. Just return to a natural cycle. Relax the face, relax the chest, relax the hips, and feel any sensation that you feel all throughout the legs. Do they feel any looser than when you started the practice today? And when you're ready, roll onto your side. Use your bicep as a pillow. Relax here for a moment. Slide yourself up towards a seat. and palms to chest. Thank you for practicing with me today. Again, I'm very happy that you came to give yourself some self-care today after a strenuous workout. Please look out for more restorative videos. You can find them all in this playlist. And subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every week. Thank you.